This podcast is sponsored by CSMI, the maker of the HUMAC Norm isokinetic system. Purchase a new or refurbished machine, or you can even upgrade an existing system to bring it up to date with all the latest testing and training applications. Please visit csmisolutions.com to view all of their available products, including the HUMAC Norm isokinetic system, the HUMAC Balance portable computerized balance system, and Sportswear Online. CSMI. Better data leads to better results.
The Everything PT podcast is sponsored by Vald Performance. Vald is the creator of the airbands for blood flow restriction therapy. If you are looking to stay up to date with today's post-surgical modalities and adding BFR to your clinic, please visit valdperformance.com. Hello, and welcome to the Everything PT podcast with Matt Taylor and Daniel Bodkin. Please do not consider anything you hear to be medical advice. Just a couple of guys ranting about everything PT. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, Daniel here. Today we had an awesome guest on the show, somebody that was pretty integral to my educational background. And the conversation steered a couple different directions, and there was so much good content that we decided we're going to split it up into two parts. So sit back, relax, and enjoy part one of this episode, and you'll come back to it next week for the second half. Welcome back to the Everything PT podcast. I'm Daniel Bodkin. I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Taylor. Matt, what's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. Getting cold here in West Virginia, but getting ready for holidays and all is well. All is well. We're getting ready to get an upgrade of our isokinetic machine too.
Oh, nice.
So, pretty.
I wonder if I'll be involved in that.
I'm gonna see if I can lobby you here. That would be really cool for us to hang out and you teach me about. I always learn from you that stuff. Yeah. So
absolutely. Well, Matt, I'm really excited for our guest today.
Yeah, I was doing some studying on our guest and pretty excited myself. So.
Yeah. So our guest today is Jeff Konin. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Just for fun, I looked up Jeff Konin CV, and it's pretty lengthy. We could talk for days just on everything you've done in your career. Now, we crossed paths at USF in the athletic training program. It was the year I came on. That's the year that you came in as well as the program director. But could you give us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are currently?
Well, I think we only have like 25 minutes for the podcast, but I will tell you that it's a very non-traditional, uncharacteristic approach. And I kind of call my career sort of the Fletch of sports medicine, where I've just been opportunistic. And, I was a really bad, borderline failed high school student. Same with college. School wasn't for me. I always thought there was a more practical, sensical way to get to where I wanted to go in my career, even though I didn't know what that was. But through some good mentoring and capitalizing on opportunity, I end up, having degrees in athletic training, physical therapy, ultimately completed my PhD in physical therapy. And I've had the opportunity to work in some of the most amazing settings, ranging from one of the top sports medicine clinics in the world at the time, secondary schools, directed sports medicine at colleges and universities. And then over the last, decade and a half, really migrated more towards a faculty role, a researcher role. And over the last 20 years total, really various types of consultative roles, which I truly enjoy, because those are the opportunistic things that allow you to use your skills and the values that you bring to whoever the stakeholders are out there that can benefit from it.
Awesome.
Yeah. And not only that, but you were also involved in, was it Paralympics? Or I remember you did a lot with that too. Can you tell us a little bit about that too?
Yeah, guys, one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, and a total coincidence. I think it was back in the early 2000s. And I received a random phone call from somebody at the United States Olympic Committee who's, they had my name in the system from working with the Olympics before. And they said, is there any chance you're available? It was actually over a holiday weekend in the fall. and their normal staff couldn't help them. They were in Birmingham, Alabama, which hosts one of their Paralympic training centers. And they said, we just need someone to go down for 4 days to help with the United States Paralympic wheelchair rugby team, also known as murder ball. If you're not familiar with murder ball, look up the trailer. It's pretty fascinating, award-winning documentary. And I said, I don't know anything about this. I really don't. And they said, you don't need to. There isn't anybody else who knows anything about this unless you'd worked with them before. So I said, sure. I actually had nothing going on that holiday weekend. And I got on a plane in Tampa and showed up there. And I met, some of the most amazing individuals, 16, with various forms of quadriplegic injuries of the past, and coaching staff. And they embraced me. It went really, really well. The amount of information I learned in 4 days at this Team USA training camp. And then I sort of got on a short list after that when their main athletic trainer couldn't make certain camps or certain tournaments. They called me, and then we worked together. He was really the go-to guy, but for a short period of time, I was in charge of the team for a couple of years, and we traveled throughout the U.S., Canada, Colombia, outside the U.S. for various opportunities. I had a chance to win a gold medal with these guys. Paralympics, very different from Olympics. When you watch Olympic Games, only on the stand you see the athletes. In the Paralympic opportunities, you have the staff as well who are on the stand and receive medals. And, I know you represented our country, obviously, in what you've done in the past. For me, one of the most amazing feelings of my life, standing on a podium, watching your flag go up and they sing the national anthem and you've got a gold medal wrapped around your neck. Totally unbelievable experience. That, again, it was one of those things that was opportunistic. Never in my life did I set that as a goal. This is what I want to do. And that made it even more fruitful living through that experience.
Wow. That sounds incredible. Watching our flag being raised there too. Jeff, when I was doing just some background about you, just reading about, I was watching Top Gun and scrolling through your CV. It was very long and lengthy, but I stumbled upon Jeff Konin, not to be confused with Jeff Konin. So Jeff Konin was a Major League Baseball player. Turns out he's at FIU as an assistant coach. Do you see Jeff Konin down there?
No, I don't, but I have an amazing Jeff Konin story. And in my first job at a school, I worked in Birmingham, actually, with Dr. Jim Andrews. And back then in the day, we performed a lot of the team physicals for major league clubs, and they were station based. And one year we happened to do Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Royals, I'm sorry. And I had the luxurious station of the feet to measure, range of motion at the foot and flexibility. But I'm handed a chart as this guy walks up and it says Jeff Konin. And I don't even, this was in like 1989 maybe. And that was my first interaction with him. Okay. I've never met him since then. I have no interaction, quite frankly, directly with him now at the university, but there's not too many people who have names like that.
No.
He's made it a little farther than I have, so kudos to him, and I just write his notes.
Well, speaking of your name, I encourage any of our athletic training or even some of our PT students, if you still have some of your old textbooks, go back and look at the front of them, because you might see the name Jeff Konin written on a few of those.
So another opportunistic thing, man. A guy who can't write to save his life. That's why they have professional editors. I just have ideas. And, the very first book that I proposed to write was a kinesiology textbook. I was in PT school, and the book we used was useless. It was a door stopper, basically. We never cracked it open. It was unhelpful. And the minute I got out, I wrote a proposal to the publishing company and said, I'd like to write a textbook on kines because I think I can make it more helpful for students. And, they come back with that classic, well, who the heck are you and why should you do this? I'm like, well, I'm a stakeholder, and I'm a person who can tell you that no one's going to buy this book again. It was required, but word trickles out, you won't need it, and it's not helpful. And that's how I wrote my first book. Based on that, they agreed, they gave me a chance, and the rest is history. And I'm now, I think, 27 textbooks later, maybe.
Jeez.
Yeah, crazy.
So for those of you who aren't watching, or Jeff hold up a textbook off air that is athletic training reimbursement, right, Jeff?
Yeah, so
2001.
Yeah.
Quite a bit has changed since then. And, Daniel and I just, we rambled about this a few weeks ago, but Blue Cross Blue Shield is now reimbursing athletic trainers for their services too. Just with your long-standing history in athletic training, any ideas and just open thoughts about that?
Well, I gotta say, Matt, I don't think a lot has changed. I mean,
Yeah,
for ATs or PTs or anybody's, third-party reimbursement is an uphill battle, and it always will be, because
Sure.
you've got one company designed to make money and pay you less and constantly change the rules, and you got a whole bunch of providers fighting for that same pie of limited money. I'm a firm believer in reimbursement. I don't care what your discipline is. If you have service and you can get a person better, you should be rewarded for it. Whether that person pays out of pocket or a third party pays you, I mean, I don't really care. And as you all probably know, at the end of the day, that the patients or the athletes, they don't care about our credentials. They just want us to get them better. They don't even care what we do, whether it's evidence-based or not. I work with enough athletes in enough big time games, and the coach and the athletes like, just get me on the field. And
Right.
Arguably 99% of some of the stuff I did, there's zero evidence to support why I did it. But if I got that person back and we won and they scored a touchdown, hell, I should have been reimbursed an awful lot for whatever I did, right? But look at Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's got a go-to guy for many years now who has zero credentials, right? He went to a massage school in California that's since been closed down. And there isn't anybody who's questioning, what he does with, well, I guess everybody's questioning him, but Tom Brady doesn't. So from my standpoint, I think that, if you can prove you got a valuable service and the patients are benefiting from it, honestly, evidence or not, and this is why I'm not traditional, as I said before, I don't follow that pathway, then by all means, you should be, compensated for what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're on the topic of athletic training, when I came to USF, it was kind of cutting edge. You came in that same time and they moved athletic training into orthopedics. It's since then transitioned to under physical therapy, but more things have come and gone since then. Now it's going towards entry-level masters for athletic trainers. You're currently the director of the athletic training program at FIU, and you have an even different model that you're using. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, again, opportunistic. So I'm the director just of the degree program, not of the whole department of athletic training. The doctor in athletic training, the DAT, is in that department. And there's, I think, maybe 8-9 programs in the country, if I'm not mistaken, that have a DAT. For the most part, these programs are virtual. They're designed to allow the working professional a chance to get a higher level degree without having to relocate, change their lives, give up their jobs, things of that nature. They have various types of residencies. We only require a weekend a year as a residency in our program. The rest is done hybrid online through discussion boards and readings and conversations that way. Our program has athletic trainers from all over the world, all different ages, and in all different professions. We have individuals in the NFL, Major League Soccer, National Hockey League. This provides people opportunities to get that next degree. But what I want to really say about our program is that it's not a clinical degree. You might hear people talk about clinical doctorates in athletic training, and other programs are clinical doctorates in their words. We're not a clinical doctorate. I can't teach you how to do better manual therapy skills and other things virtually. I can teach you how to think a little different, but I'm not there to supervise and give direct feedback with your patient care. What we really do is everything I've just talked about already is help you become opportunistic. And that is what we have seen in terms of professional growth. Most individuals, and we were talking about this off air with one of our colleagues, people advance in the profession, not necessarily because of their clinical skills, but because of all the other things they bring to the table, the intangibles. Some call those soft skills, some call those hard skills. We talk about leadership skills, and we talk about entrepreneurial skills. Because if you understand the money trail, like we were saying earlier, if you work for a company and you want more money, you have to justify for them your value. And I don't see any reason why anyone, quite frankly, in PT or in private practice, if you want more money, go to the owners and say, here's the proposal I made. If I are able to implement X, Y, and Z, and it brings more money into the company, can I get a percentage of that back to me? What owner would not agree to do that? Having a team player working to help you make more money. But we're not taught that, really. And so we're taught, what I call sort of elementary negotiation skills. Okay, go ask for this. And then when they give you a lower proposal, go meet them in the middle. That's like so simplistic. But what's more important is to understand, how does a company make the money, whether it's a hospital or a private practice, or even if you work as an athletic trainer in a college or a high school, what is it costing them for you, and how else can you generate revenue for them? So our program is designed to do that, partially to help people understand professional growth. And what I like to say is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm worn out from that statement of know your why. It has good value to it as far as course. But what I like to say is know your where. And what I mean by that is, where do you want to be? So in our program, it's 2 years. So where do you want to be in 2 years? And if you do nothing and you keep doing your same job, or maybe small things, I guarantee you, just by meeting your CEU requirements, you won't get there in 2 years. But if you really want to make a difference and get somewhere else, either within your organization or elsewhere, how do you get there? And knowing your where is what we do. We decide, okay, if you tell me I'm going to be the best manual therapist, okay, that we can't get you there. That's not our program. Go look somewhere else. Maybe you don't need a program. Maybe you just need courses. But if you tell us where you want to go, and we think we can, that's what our program does to help you get in that direction. It's very individualized. Yeah, we take the same classes per se, but you actually 25% of the program is individualized to help you get to your where. And it's really simple, right? If you're going on vacation, you don't leave your house and randomly pack a suitcase, get in a car and drive, or drive to the airport and decide which gate to go to. Like, you pick your where, and then what's the best way to get there? Should we drive? Should we fly? Is it a cruise? And that's what our program does. Tell us where you want to be, and we specialize in helping you get there. Because myself and my colleagues who teach in it, it's basically the storybook of our career. We've taken advantage of opportunities, and that's how we got to where we are.
Wow. That's awesome. Just a real quick follow-up question for you, Jeff. Yeah, I just had a dinner with the university. Well, I shouldn't say what university, but a school locally is going to start a PT program very soon. I'm helping out as part of their board and advising them, and they are very interested in a hybrid teaching model, the one that you very similarly described there. And I think that's just the way of the future, to help reduce some of the costs involved too, and people can go to school where they want. I feel like that's just makes a lot of sense, right?
But it's one of the best things that ever came out of COVID.
Yeah.
Because I'm old enough to remember when online programs started, they were just ridiculed and knocked and called paper mills and all these other things. Mm-hmm. Then more people realized the importance of availability, accessibility, cost supporting, all that. And then COVID hit, and then everyone else had to figure out, how the hell do we do this online? And they started calling us and others who were succeeding at it. And you could use physical therapy. DPT programs are a great example. One of the first to do this, Nova Southeastern, St. Augustine, they have great models. And I heard a lot of negative things by people outside about their approach. And I've worked with both of them. I know they're solid people and they have great programs. And I saw their infrastructure, very impressive. But when COVID hit, all of a sudden they were the experts. And I kind of got a good chuckle out of that. And that raised their stock and their credibility significantly in the academic world.
It's funny you mentioned Nova Southeastern. That was my first side gig when I graduated, was being a lab instructor in the cadaver lab for them, for their hybrid DPT program. So then I took a lot of the things that I saw them using, and then USF asked me to become part of their faculty for their transition athletic training program. And I've done that since 2014. And unfortunately, they're shutting down that online program, but I'm currently in, I think, the last 2 weeks of that right now.
Yeah, great opportunities.
Looking for a way to improve sport-specific training with your athletes? Then you have to check out BlazePods. BlazePods is a neurocognitive reaction training intervention that can be incorporated into your sessions for patients throughout the treatment spectrum. Visit blazepod.com. Enter code EVERYTHINGPT at checkout and save 15% off your order today. Hey, all you rehab specialists out there. Do you have an isokinetic dynamometer just sitting around your clinic not being used? Little known fact, isokinetic machines that aren't used regularly are at higher risk for bouts of sadness. Help your machine out and take CSMI's newest CEU course, Isokinetics 101 online, created by me, Daniel Bodkin, and learn how to use all the exercise and testing applications available on your machine. With new and exciting rehab techniques in your toolbox, your sad isokinetic machine can become an active member of the rehab team again and regain its happiness. Isokinetics 101 online by CSMI has been approved for 8 credit hours for athletic trainers, physical therapists, and physical therapy assistants. Contact your state board for details on specific requirements. This course is available at humacnorm.com/courses/isokinetics-101.